Owning your own business, you are working 24/7, if not more, because it's your baby. And so because it's mine, it is my baby, I'm very particular with everything that goes out the door.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Backstage Business. I am your host, Summer Felix Mulder. And today, I thought it would be so super cool to bring on a friend from high school who I have been following and who have kept in touch with and who is pretty much the bomb. She's amazing. And I knew that she would bring so much value to you guys. So in this interview, you get to hear my friend, Jaime Geffen of Geffen Events. And what Geffen Events does is create the most spectacular events for all kinds of entertainment groups, just amazing things. Like their clients include DreamWorks, Amazon, Netflix, Disney, American Idol, like all of the big, awesome events that you see in social media. And you're like, wow, I want to be there. She's probably produced it. So she's just incredible. She is a wife and a mother and a total mompreneur. And I'm so excited to get to speak with her today and have you guys listen into that conversation. We talk about how she started the business, how she grew her clientele list to what it is today. What are some of the challenges of being a mom and a wife and running a business, or just being an entrepreneur in general? And we also talk about health and how important that is to your business. And I think it's something that many of us can easily put on the back burner because we're like, you know what, we got so many other things to worry about. But her story is really going to inspire you to think a little bit differently about that. And I know for sure, personally, that your health definitely has a definite correlation to your business. You can see like total results in your business based on how your health is. And we're going to hear how that helped transform Jaime as well. So I'm excited for you guys to listen to this. There's so many good takeaways, and I'm just really excited to get to connect with my high school buddy. Enjoy the interview. Jaime, I'm so excited you're here.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, we've known each other quite a long time.
Yes, a very, very long time.
I've absolutely loved watching your journey, and thank goodness for social media, because I don't even know if we'd still be connected if we didn't have all of that.
I know it's the best part of social media is reconnecting and keeping up with all of our friends. So that is one of the main reasons why I use it for sure.
Oh my gosh. You have so many great stories too. But I first want to let our listeners know what it is that you do today and how you even got into doing this, because it's so uber cool.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. So I am the owner of an event production and design firm called Geffen Events. And it is basically a full service event production company based in Los Angeles, but pretty much bi-coastal at this point. I started working in the events industry about, I don't want to age myself, but a little over 15 years ago with working. I worked at a studio first. Actually, it was more than 15 years ago when I worked at the studio. I worked for Sony Pictures Television, and I worked in the special events department there, and I ran a lot of the events for all of the television shows for the studio and a lot of the corporate events, all of the retreats, movie premieres. I kind of ran the gamut of all the different things that I did, as well as talent relations, which basically meant traveling the talent for all of our events across the country and internationally. So I got my start in events working for a studio, and then I broke off and started my own business with a business partner called Your Bash. And that was a very successful, great, very similar to Geffen Events now, but a little bit different in that there were two principals in the company. And my business partner was the designer and I was the producer, and we basically split the business 50-50. And we had a great run. We had our business for 9 years and worked on some amazing projects. We did all of the American Idol events. We did the polo event in Santa Barbara when the Duke and Duchess were here. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, all just really incredible events. Had a very successful company. And then he moved to Atlanta a couple of years ago and decided to pursue his career more towards the wedding area of special events. And I took the opportunity to rebrand Your Bash into my own company. And I launched Geffen Events 3 years ago. And like I said, I'm the owner, I'm the CEO, I'm the producer, I'm the main person for the company. I do have an incredible team that work with me on all of the events, but we really focus more now on branded events, corporate events, sporting events, charity events. So I don't do a lot of personal events. I enjoy weddings and bar mitzvahs and those types of things, but I do tend to find myself drawn more to corporate and charity events. So yeah. So kind of in a nutshell.
Yes. What's been like the real core difference between Geffen Events and Your Bash in terms of now it's you as the sole owner?
Correct. Well, like I said, he was the designer within our company. And I found that for me, it's really been beneficial for Geffen Events to be able to grow my business and work with all different types of designers. So depending on the event, I will either hire a freelance designer to come in and, work with me and create a design board, design plan, working with the client. Sometimes I just design everything in-house because I also love working on design. So it's kind of given me an opportunity to work with different people and to pick and choose the style of designer that I want to work with depending on the client and the event.
Right. Are there challenges that you feel like more pressure because it's just you now? I mean, I'm sure there's like pros and cons.
No, absolutely. I mean, owning your own business, you are working 24/7, if not more, because it's your baby. And so, when there used to be another person involved and another person, splitting the workload, absolutely, it was a little bit easier. However, because it's mine and because it is my baby, I'm very particular with everything that goes out the door. So I take only events that are appropriate for my brand so that we can produce them appropriately for their brand. So what I mean by that is I wouldn't take on something that isn't really in my wheelhouse, that I wouldn't be able to really do a great job of producing, because I obviously want the clients to be happy. Ultimately, makes for a better working relationship. So I would say that, of course, there's the pressures and the stress of, oh gosh, is the phone going to ring? And oh gosh, am I going to have an event this month? And thank goodness, knock on wood, that does happen. And I have been successful and I am busy and all those things. But yeah, absolutely. When you own your own business, you feel all the stresses and all the pressure.
Oh, totally. So that, as you're saying that leads me to another question, because I know that there's, people, a lot of our listeners that work in similar type services. And a big question is, how do you market?
Yeah. When we first started our first business, I didn't really know better. So I thought, oh, well, we need to run advertisements and we need to go in magazines, and that's where people find business. Well, truthfully, it didn't do a lot for us. And it hasn't done a lot. And so I didn't re-explore that avenue when I launched Geffen. What I have found is my business is mostly word of mouth and referrals. However, because it is such a visual business, social media has been a huge piece of it. So, obviously keeping our Instagram page current and keeping our website current with all of our event photos. And I always hire an event photographer to come to my events and take just decor photos. I don't want to be intrusive and take pictures of guests or clients or anything like that. It's really just, and I'll get it approved by the client, which they're fine with usually because there's no people in the pictures, but it's just a way to get visuals to show people like, we're constantly evolving and we're constantly changing with the styles. And this is our new way of branding something, or this is a new incredible vendor that we're working with. So we try to keep all of those photos current so that we can put those up on our, all of our social media platforms, and then I'll obviously keep our website current with all of our new products. So yeah, it's
important. And that's especially in what you're doing. That's the first place people are going to look to see what is it that what you've done, and what does the experience look like.
Yeah. And if our styles mesh, because I mean, when you're going, especially if you're going to hire somebody to plan your wedding or your personal event, obviously you kind of have in your mind already what you want it to look like. And if you really want everything to be one way and you look on our social media page and it's a little bit different, or opposite, conversely, like we could have exactly what you want, and it'll be a great relationship. So it's important, I think, to be true to your brand and show who you are and what you create. And even like in stories, I'll constantly be like at walkthroughs showing new venues. Like, I just think it's important that people know that I'm out there doing the work, because, that's important. You don't want somebody working for you or planning your event that, is still kind of old school in their way of thinking, or doesn't know the coolest, hottest venues, or the nice, the new nightclubs, or any of that kind of stuff.
Exactly. And you're really developing that trust. So you work with, you've had really big clients like American Idol. There's a lot of events that you have done.
Yes.
How does this, at some point you were brand new to all of this. How did you so quickly build this reputation?
Yeah. Honestly, it all goes back to my days at Sony, because I started at Sony as a temporary employee working as the assistant to the assistant to the assistant. And I basically learned the business from the bottom up. Like I learned how to do budgets. I learned how to do scheduling. I learned how to, talk to clients and have meetings and those types of things. And really I learned everything from that job. And I was there for almost 10 years. And within that 10 years, like, I slowly worked my way up the line. And by the end of my time there, I was running the events department, and I had a team of people working underneath me. But that all being said, when I left Sony, a big piece of my business came from all of my coworkers at other studios, other corporations, like people that I had met through working at Sony and networking. And I was huge on networking. Like I took every opportunity to go to different events that I was invited to, go see new venues when they opened, to go to cocktail receptions, to meet other people doing what I was doing, even if they were the assistants to the assistants, because eventually we all kind of, grew into our own. And ironically, a lot of my initial clients were people that I had worked with on the other side at Sony. So, and that being said, the companies that I had hired when I was at Sony, I knew what I liked and I didn't like, and what worked for me as the client. And I sort of built the business based on those likes and dislikes.
Right.
And really, I think formed a company that didn't exist out there when we started, because there were a lot of companies that existed that were under one roof, a producer and a designer. And that was a big draw for a lot of people, because it was something new and different. And Brian came from a lot of experience. He was my business partner. He came from a lot of experience on the studio side as well. He came from another studio, and he had worked with a lot of people throughout that studio. And so, but both of us, we just had a lot of relationships, and that it was really just pounding the pavement and scheduling meetings and, going back to our roots of, where we came from and who we knew.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you're also a wife and a mother of the most adorable little boy.
Oh, thank you.
So cute. He's so cute.
Yeah.
And I just love watching your family pictures and all that you're doing. And
thank you.
But of course the question is, because I remember we spoke, like we went and had coffee years ago, and he was super little, and you were like out there hustling and working and doing all these amazing things. There's juggle in there. And for our female listeners who are go-getters like you, how do you make it all work? What are, does it all work? What are the things, what are the challenges?
There are for sure days it doesn't work, but
right, exactly.
come on, let's be honest, but But I would say the majority of the time I have figured out, thank goodness, a way to be able to balance being a mom and producing these events. Truthfully, not without a lot of help. I mean, I moved back out to Westlake Village where we grew up
Yes.
and know each other from,
Yep.
because I really wanted to be closer to my parents because my parents helped me with my son and all of those things. And my husband's incredible, and he works a full-time job for a studio and travels a ton too, but he's very involved and hands-on. So I'm very lucky in that respect. But as far as the way I manage it personally for me, I decided a long time ago that I wasn't going to have a brick and mortar office, that I was going to do everything in my power to be able to run a home office, which meant that I was still always connected back here so that I could schedule my life around being at the important events, being here in the mornings, being here at night for bedtime, being around, being able to go to school if I needed to, if an emergency and that kind of thing. So yes, of course, there's days that I'm in the city because I do commute a lot. I would say 3 out of the 5 days, usually I commute. But I try to schedule my commute a little bit later in the morning so I know I can get there a little bit faster and get home a little earlier. Or if I have a nighttime event, I'll make sure that I'm there the next morning. Like, it's just really been all about scheduling my life. And obviously Cole is my priority. I mean, I'm first and foremost his mom, and but I am still hustling, and there are plenty of nights that we get him to bed at 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I'm up until midnight, 1 o'clock, like responding to emails. And my clients know I'm a mom, and my clients know that I have that I have a little boy, and they're the majority of them are super respectful of time and management and that kind of thing, and knowing that if you email me at 6 o'clock at night, the likelihood is I'm not going to get back to you immediately, but I will always respond, that day or, the next morning. But, like I said, there are days that are tough. I mean, next week I'm loading in a huge event, on Tuesday, all day and all night. And then we have the event the next day. And then the day after is load out. So it's like a 3-day event, but I just sort of know, like, those 3 days, that is the event. But on Monday and Friday, I'm going to do my best to not schedule a ton of meetings so I can be around and, try to be present and around.
I love it. I love that.
Thank you.
And, there's a lot of buzz type things going around for, in regards to female entrepreneurs, and hearing a lot of women that are struggling with guilt because they're pursuing dreams and building these careers. And I'm always curious when I talk to another fellow mompreneur, has that affected you? And I think, definitely it's about who you have in your life, but has that affected you ever on a personal level?
Yeah, it has. I mean, we call it mom guilt, obviously, but it absolutely does. And anxiety and worry and, am I being a good mom? And am I giving my son as much attention as I'm giving my business? And of course. And, I do truly believe, though, that there is something to be said for being a mom and being an entrepreneur, and that the majority of people out there in the industry and in the world respect it very much, and know that if you can balance it and if you can do both, you're going to do an amazing job for them, as working for them, because they know that you have a million balls in the air, but like somehow, everyone always says, oh, you look so organized and you never look like you're stressed out. And it's like, well, okay, that's great. Like, I hope that's the perception that everyone has of me, but trust me, there are plenty of times when, you feel like you have a million balls in the air and you're not going to catch any of them. But
yeah, completely.
You just kind of do, you make it work.
You do. You make it work. And I think it's actually a great example to show that you can make it work and that it doesn't have to be perfect all the time.
And it isn't. But you know what? No matter what, at the end of the day, that little boy thinks I'm perfect. So that's it. Like, and the days that he doesn't, like, he'll forget about it in the morning, So,
right. Totally.
And I think that our kids, I truly think, like, my son's very proud of me. He likes to talk about, like, all of the things I do. And he'll tell people all the time about these events that I plan. And my mom does this. And I got to go to this event because my mom knows this person, or, and I think it's a good thing for your kids to see, like, give them the work ethic in the world. And there's so many people out there now that are coming up and don't have the work ethic and grind that we grew up with.
Right.
And, the entitlement of, oh, I graduated from college and I should have a great job. And okay, well, no,
No.
it's not how it works. It's not how it works. We all started at the bottom and we all clawed our way up to get to where we are. So, I think that's important to show our kids as well.
I couldn't agree more. And I love that you're saying this. So on a more personal level, you've been going through this amazing transformation yourself.
Yep.
Can you share that with us? Because I've been watching you and I know that it's something it's just incredible to watch and I'm super inspired by it. So I'd love to hear what triggered that and what it's been like so far.
Yeah. So truthfully, back to, never making time for yourself, which was really my life since I had Cole, who's now 9. And, I was healthy enough. I mean, I was definitely not taking care of myself to the best of my ability. And I had definitely gained a lot more weight than I actually even realized until I went through this whole transformation. But, I basically woke up one day and I was like, well, let me back up. I have a very dear friend. Her name is Teddy Mellencamp, and we met each other through horseback riding, which is a hobby of mine, competitive horseback riding.
Oh, yes.
And yes. So I met her through that. She also happens to be one of the housewives of Beverly Hills now. But before all of that, I knew her through the horse world. And she had started this program of weight loss, and it's called All In by Teddy. And I knew about it. And she didn't really ever say much to me because, I respect the fact that she never really pushes it on people. And I produced an event for her, which later aired on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And it was a great event, and it was in the backyard of her house, and, all the housewives came over. It was really her introduction to the show. And I remember the day the show aired, I looked at myself on the show and I was like, oh my gosh, who is that person? Like, I that's not even what I think I look like anymore. Like, what happened? So I literally called her on the phone and I was like, okay, I'm ready. And she's like, okay. So literally like a week later, I started on this journey and transformation, and I went on a program with her and her team of coaches and nutritionists. And it was actually a 14-week journey, but I got to my goal weight last July. So it's been, quite some time that I've maintained it, but I basically did a complete life change, and I took back my life for myself a little bit, not all, but selfishly, like I make 1 hour a day to do cardio every day, no matter if it's in the morning or the night or the middle of the day, whatever I can schedule. I do 1 hour of cardio. I eat very clean and healthy. I have really passed that on to my family too, my son and my husband. And it's just been a complete lifestyle transformation. And like I said, I hit my goal last July and I went off the program, but I still pretty much live the program because it's a lifestyle, and it changed the way I look at everything: food, health, cardio, just my life in general. So it's given me a kind of a rejuvenation in life, and also within my business, because I think that I just kind of needed I pushed the refresh button on life. So
yeah.
And it was important. It came at a time in my life where it just really needed to happen, and for my own health and well-being, and to keep me here for my son and my husband and my life. So
no, and I love that you said, how it helps with your business too. And I'm such a big fan of that, in terms of your performance and how you treat yourself and your health. Yeah. It really does affect everything. And sometimes people will say, well, what's the fastest thing I can do to transform even, my business? People will ask that, I need to change. I need to do something. And I definitely think, I'm like, it's your health. Like as soon as you start doing that from the inside, you will start to think differently. You'll start to see opportunities differently. You just perform on such a different level when you're healthy. And so many people kind of, they're like, oh, I don't really have time for that. I can't make time to exercise. I can't make time to, eat right. I just have to like get through it. And it's like, oh, you don't get it.
Yeah, it was me 1,000%. I made every excuse in the world why I could not exercise. And now the days, if there is a day rarely that I can't get in a workout, I mean, a workout can be anything from going for a walk for an hour to like a soul cycle class or a boxing class. But
Yeah.
just what that hour for myself of like clearing my mind and gearing myself up for the day. Cause I usually work out first thing in the morning. Cause I have found for me that it kind of like jumpstarts my day. And
Yep.
I've actually, believe it or not, I was never a believer in this, but it 1,000% is true. It gives you more energy to work out. It's the endorphins. It's the, it's clearing your head. When I am finished working out, I have more energy than I had before I started.
Yes.
So, and I think like it's you go into your day with a clear mind, and so many like ideas will just pop into your head when you're, when you're in that moment. So
it is so true. It's just getting the energy moving and like the life force in you. I 100% have better days when my workout is at the beginning of the day. That is so me.
Yeah.
My husband, I've watched him go through the same thing since October. He's lost 30 pounds and he's been working out, doing workout challenges with friends in Facebook, bringing them all together. And just by doing that causes you to eat healthier. You make healthier choices because you feel better and you're like, I don't really want to eat that bad stuff. And there's a direct correlation to just in his business as well. I'm like, wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Like things just dramatically like,
it's
wow,
true.
big things are happening.
And I'm kind of like pushing it off on my clients too. Cause like we'll go to tastings for events and I'm like, well, wait, maybe we could try something like, why don't we try to like have some vegan options or vegetarian options or things that aren't also heavy and comfort foody, cause and they're like, oh, that's a good idea. And then we do those types of things. And then we kind of push the caterers and hotels and things to think outside the box. And sure enough, like people love that. Like everyone wants to be healthier. It's just about how do they do it? So it's just like infusing little parts of in like infusing healthier menus or healthier options or more active activities that can be team building for corporate events and that type of thing. So it has definitely changed me as a person, and it has definitely changed my business. And ironically, a lot of different brands that I have come to know or learn about throughout my new lifestyle, those brands I'm now approaching for potential business because I'm like, wow, I really want to do more. Like my goal in the next 5 years is to do more health and wellness events because I clearly know how to plan an event. And I now have a much clearer vision of health and wellness. And like, why wouldn't it be amazing to bring those two things together and, create some really incredible events that other people could, enhance their education about these things as well. So that's kind of my like 5-year plan on this whole thing. But it really has been life-changing. And I'm so thankful that I did it and I will never look back. And there you have it.
I love it. And I love that you share this journey as well on social media and all that you do. It's so great because it's just getting to know you. And it's just, I think you do a brilliant job at it, at all of it.
Oh, thank you. Well, I feel like I've met so many people through the journey because I do post all my workouts every day. I do post a lot of what I eat. I do post like inspiring quotes and things like, and a lot of people that I didn't know before I've met through this. And I get these letters a lot of times from people that are like, oh, I'm a mom or I'm a business owner. And I, even if I inspire like 1 to 10 people through this whole thing, I feel like I've accomplished something. So,
absolutely.
And that's so great. And it means so much when people come up to me and they're like, oh, I've been following your journey and I'm here at this gym. I'm here at the gym today because of you. Or someone will text me their workout and be like, I worked out this morning and I didn't really want to, but I thought of you being at the gym already at 6 o'clock. I did it anyway. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that like, you just don't know. You don't know how much of an impact you can have on someone's life by just doing what you do, which has been a huge eye opener for me.
Well, and it's so true. And it's, if you want to see change happen, it's true. You have to be the change. And I know that's like, a super,
oh, I love that though.
but it's so true, and you do that. And like you said, one person inspired that changes is now, there's an expression that's, one person changed, a whole community changed, or one person transformed, a community transformed. And it's true because it just trickles, they're now inspiring somebody else and they're inspiring somebody else. So I absolutely believe in that. And I love it.
Oh, good. Well, thank you.
If our listeners want to find more information about you, get in contact with you, we're going to post all of this in our blog post and show notes. But for those listening, where can they find more about you?
Thank you. You're so sweet. Okay. So I have a personal Instagram account and a professional Instagram account. My professional Instagram is Geffen Events, at Geffen Events. My website is geffenevents.com. And then obviously my personal one is Jaime Geffen Events. So I only post the personal journey and that type of stuff that we were talking about. That's all in my personal. And then obviously Geffen Events is all my business and my event photography and that type of thing. So that's probably the best way to reach me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So excited. Thank you so much for all that you shared today. I love it. And you're super inspiring. I love the fact that we're still friends after all of these years.
I was just going to say the same thing, and that you are amazing as well. And I'm so proud of all that you have accomplished. So congratulations to you also.
Thank you so much. I hope I get to see your face sooner than later.
Yes, absolutely. I know. Absolutely. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Summer.